to cover a lot of things in a very short time, and you'll notice that my slides also have a lot of extraneous information or extra, and I may not discuss it. But I hope that those of you, like me, who read quickly, will entertain you while I continue my talk. I'd like to begin with pre-Islamic Arabia because everything in the end still.
You gotta hold it right up to
I'll
you.
introduce myself. I'm a Muslim. I have so much information that I'm so focused on that. My name is Rula I'm a Palestinian-American Muslim, and I've been here for 30 years. And people like Sister Eileen are the reason what she does and her work are the reason I became a nurse. I'm so honored to meet you, and I'm a nurse, you know. I will do my best. So is that a little bit more helpful in terms of who I am? Keep it close. Okay, I want to begin this talk by the context of the revelation of Islam, how Islam came down, and where it came. And I'm only telling you this because I want you to understand that really Islam came as a social, economic, and cultural revolution. In a 25-year span of time, really upturned society from a feudal-type, tribal society that most resembles what most people now think of as Islam, but is what it sought to overturn. It was, as I said, a tribal, nomadic society of many different small tribes that were warring with each other. It was a desert, a harsh climate, and really physical weakness was a liability in any form. Women were chattel, they were property, they had no rights. Polygamy, unlimited, unlimited in any sense, and sometimes it was marriage through marriage, and sometimes it was not through marriage. So the Bedouin Arabs really, the life that they lived was harsh, but at the same time they were known for their eloquence and poetry. They were famous for that, in fact. So, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and I'm going to preface all of my statements about the Prophet. We always say peace be upon him, as we say on other prophets, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to say it every time. I may forget, so please forgive me. There were signs of his prophethood from during his mother's pregnancy, but he was born, his father had died before he was born, and he was orphaned at the age of 6 and raised by a paternal grandfather and uncle in the early days of Islam. Like the Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, he began to shepherd. At the age of 12, there was another interaction which he became Is this okay? No. I'm really sorry. No. I am sorry. I'm sorry. I'd like to start again, just this part, about the prophet and how the message that was revealed to him came when he was actually 50 years old. But throughout his life, as a young man, as a child, as a young man, he was known for his honesty and trustworthiness. Despite the negative and sometimes offensive things that they say about the prophet, he actually was monogamous in a marriage to a woman who was 25 or 15 years older than he was for her entire life. She was a wealthy widow. Her name was Khadija. She was a businesswoman and a trader who hired him and then became so impressed with his honesty and truthfulness and integrity that she asked her maid to basically to propose to her. And there was such a love in this marriage that after she passed away, as you heard from the sheikh, that he called it the year of sadness. And it was a very deep love, and he also said after her death this very famous line, which I think is beautiful: "I was enriched by her love." And in Arabic it says the same word. This is a list of human rights in Islam. I'm not going to discuss them one by one, but I would like to read them. The right to life, the sanctity of all life, the right to dignity, and that is for children, for women, it is for trees and the earth and water. It's very hard to talk about Islam in pieces because it really is a whole, and it is an all-encompassing. And the purpose of my being here and talking to you about these things is not to deny that there is a reality that is different than this ideal that I'm speaking about, but it's to know that there is the ideal, and that gap between the ideal, the reality and the ideal, is what is the misunderstood term jihad, and that is our struggle to narrow that gap between what is reality and on a personal level and what the ideal is in a spiritual realm. So we have the right to life, we have the right to dignity, the right to equality, and I'll go into some of these later. The right to seek knowledge, the right to justice, to be presumed innocent until guilty, which was revolutionary and way before its time. Signals that they can't hear. I was saying that there was also within the legal system of Islam the right to be presumed innocent before proven guilty. The right, and the right to confront oppressors and a fair trial. The right to speak truth to power. The right to privacy and protection from slander and blasphemy. And the right to seek political asylum. This is a quote from the Prophet, peace be upon him, which says, "The best jihad is a word of truth to a tyrannical leader and unjust leader." These are just a few of the highlights that I wanted to discuss. Looks like that. The sanctity of life I spoke to you about, and whoever saves a soul, it is a verse in the Quran, whoever saves a soul, it's like they've saved all of humanity. The earth is a mosque and everything is in it is sacred, even laborers. The Prophet, like I said, it's a holistic way of looking at the world and engaging in the world. Talked about how to treat people who labor, and you should pay them quickly before the sweat dries on their brow. crowds. There's freedom of choice in religion. We know that. We've heard people, my brothers here, discuss it before. There is no compulsion in religion. That is not just Muslims to non-Muslims, it's even Muslims within themselves. And this includes no compulsion in a Muslim father forcing his daughter to marry. A young girl has the right to choose. There is no compulsion in religion in wearing the headscarf. The father can encourage his daughter, the family can encourage their daughter, but the kinds of stories, the excesses that we hear about sometimes in the media, that the media likes to talk to you about, really is a distortion of the reality. So freedom of choice, that means that, you know, an understanding nobody can force anybody to become a Muslim or to pretend to become a Muslim. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the 99 attributes or names of God. And the idea that they aren't just names that we look at and repeat. They are things that we are encouraged to aspire to.